I would hope that my partner would want to travel with me. That would be the goal. I would want a travel buddy. Like when I see myself having a husband, here it is.
That's your husband?
Here it is. Yes, my husband would be my travel buddy. He would want to go with me.
Totally cucked. Just a puppy dog, a lap dog. That's your ideal husband.
No, because he has the same ideals. Going into a relationship, guess what? I don't know about everybody, but I know when I go into a relationship, this is what I like to do. This is who I am. And usually I get, oh my God, I love to travel too. And so why can't we travel together? Why can't we do those things together?
Aren't you traveling for your job?
Sometimes, yeah, but I love to travel in general. That's one of my things that I do for fun.
So your ideal man is to follow you around on a plane to...
No, because if we're together, we're deciding the trips together. If that's a hobby I do, we can pick the trips together and go on them together because they also like to travel. These are things you talk about in the beginning relationship. Do you want kids? Yes or no? You kind of get these things out of the way so you don't waste your time, actually.
No.
Wasting
Great.
your time would be...
Around on a plane?
What? Go ahead.
You're not setting yourself up to win, I'm just saying.
But a relationship isn't straight up like that.
Absolutely you are, because if you go over the preferences in the beginning, you're setting yourself up to win if you know exactly what you want, both of you.
How is it winning to wind up with a man who abandons his duties and interests to follow you around like a lap dog?
Why is he abandoning? Literally, he can do whatever he wants to do if he's working, whatever he does at his job, great. And then we're going to travel together. What's wrong with that?
She's not saying he has to follow her around and whatever. She's just saying, like, look, if I'm traveling, he can come with me. Like, that's...
Yeah,
she's
I'm
going to
go to New Zealand.
She's not saying he wants him to not work at all. She's not saying he has to follow her. It's just...
I can cook when I'm home. I don't mind cook. I'm actually a great...
cook. That's what you're saying. What are you saying? Like a cook. Right? Isn't that what you said? She wants a cook? Isn't that what you're trying to say?
What is that?
I couldn't tell which word it was.
What is it?
For either
yeah. What is it?
Cook.
A cook.
So funny.
No, what happened is she listed some traits.
What is that?
That would be a cook.
What is that?
What is keeping a home? It sounds like in your situation, there's no actual home. It's almost like there's locations, and then you bring your relationship to locations, but there's nothing that's grounded, right?
If you're living in a home together, you have a home, and yes, you can travel together. And if I'm going to go travel by myself, that's also fine too, and as should he. If that's what he likes to do, if that's something we're mutually interested in.
I think for some people,
a home. Like traveling so much where you're not at home, what is your relationship? I don't understand.
God.
I think for some people,
long distance relationships also don't exist in your opinion. That's not a thing.
Long
distance, because if you're not together, right? That's what you're saying. You can't be in a long distance relationship.
That's a fantasy.
Truckers, pilots, anybody who goes military. God forbid you go overseas, right?
No. Pilots come home a lot of times the same day or the second day.
I know many pilots who do not do that.
Oh wow, you know an exception. For the most part, pilots come home. They stay a couple. That is too stressful for people. That's a stretch. But you're actually arguing. Well, no, this is an amazing opportunity to find a man who is basically going to say yes to you sort of gallivanting around, right? So who is this man? It's not a man who wants to settle down. So you're actually reducing your options to men who don't want to settle down, and you're going to be surprised that you wind up alone and not famous and not an actress. And it's because you wanted to...
I'm not famous and not an actress because I want to... Because I don't want kids and don't want to. So what does that even mean?
No, I'm saying that you're setting yourself up based on your preferences. I believe that you have a somewhat, and I don't mean this condescendingly, a delusional view of what you think is going to happen or what you think is possible in a workable relationship. It sounds like you're not willing to sacrifice a damn thing about your preferences.
That's absolutely not true. I've sacrificed so many things about what I do. In a relationship before, and it still got me nowhere because people take advantage of that actually. But anyway, yeah, so as far as I see it, I state out what I like in the beginning of the dates and things like that. When we're first starting to talk, that's where I state what I'd like in a relationship, and if they're on the same track, then we can move on and continue. And that's how it goes. That's how you know you're not wasting your time.
But if Jim Bob is saying X things are good in X things are good to do in a relationship, and you say, I tried X things in a specific relationship and that relationship didn't work out, that isn't necessarily evidence that X things are bad. It was
many relationships, actually. I tried to do a lot of submissive things. I was very submissive. There's even a previous...
So So what I would say that is a woman could be acting perfectly in terms of her own conduct, although I think this is probably typically rare. But you are attracted to a certain type of guy. Like if you say you've had all these relationships and what the guy's a dickhead, cheats on you.
I have been cheated on like many times. Yeah.
So there's probably something in terms of your selection that.
Oh, I know. I need to work on the selection, but
Well, yeah, but then
I also think I've been lied to, because if I state what I like and they're not okay with that later on, I've had a lot of people where I've said, okay, I don't want this, like I don't want kids, and then they're okay with that, right? But where I say, well, I like to travel, or I'm a model and actress, my job entails this, guys will change up, like you're saying, and say, oh, I actually don't want you to do this or that.
Jim Bob, do you have any final thoughts on this? Because I do got to move it on to something else.
No, it's just that and it's just what Brian said, is that your preferences are minimizing your selection. That's all. And
that's fine.
Maybe your preferences will change, which is fine. And we're just pointing out, if you follow these down, there is going to be maybe a moment for you, and this is just an invitation, is that maybe the vision you have for your future that's completely driven by just your preferences, you might want to look at potentially altering that to expand the selection that you might be exposed to. That's up to you. I'm just saying the reality is you have a minimized selection.
And that's okay. The minimalized section's fine. I just need to find the right one when they come along. That's the right one. The one who will flow with me and I'll flow with them.
All right, we have Lucas here with the soup chat. Let's dispense with the gaslighting, shaming tactics, and empty platitudes about trust. Refraining from certain activities as a married person is a matter of etiquette and respect. I just asked my wife if she'd be cool with me going to the Playboy Mansion every weekend. She said, "Are you nuts?" So to you, would you be okay with your husband, boyfriend, whatever, going to the Playboy Mansion every weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not. But Playboy Mansion is like, that's.
What do you mean?
He's going to the Playboy Mansion. That's a lot different than like going out to a party with my friends. I'm just confused at how those are like,
I don't know. I
the
mean, the
same.
girls can only get with Hef. So
That's also true.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just be more curious as to
Can I
why.
go to the Playboy Mansion too sometimes?
Well, I mean, Hefner's no longer alive.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
pretty
it's
sure. in
Not
the
really a
history of the-
worrisome. It's changed a lot.
Pretty sure in the history of the Playboy Mansion, other men who have gone to Playboy Mansion parties have slept with the
If
women.
I'm going out, I'd probably honestly want my boyfriend there. Like, I'd want to
but
go
what
out
if
with
he
my friends,
doesn't
but
say he doesn't want to go out and he's like, I don't want you to go out either?
I mean, if it's like, oh, tonight I don't want you to go out, like I want to hang out with you tonight, yeah, I'd probably stay. But if it's like, oh, I
Blanket.
never want you
It's
to,
just blanket. He doesn't want you to go out to bars and clubs.
like, ever again.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm older and I'm ready to settle down, that'd be fine. But
Really?
I feel
But it sounded like earlier, even if you were ready to settle down, you wouldn't want to be with a man who would be, I guess, in your frame of view, controlling like that.
no, I just think it has to do with like my age. Like if I'm ready to settle down, I'm ready to settle down. I think right now I wouldn't want to be with someone that would like tell me not to go out because I'm still 18. Like I still want to experience life. My whole life doesn't like revolve around like relationships. I mean friendships, but I'm not like, I don't know. I feel like if I want to go out and experience life, that's what I want to do.
You're going out, but you're not like trying to be pursued. That's not the reason you're going out.
Yeah, no, that's not why I go out.
Lucas, do you women actually really believe that any busy, affluent, high caliber, good looking man would spend even 5 seconds negotiating boundaries with you? If you don't fall in line with his values and expectations, there are 50 other girls waiting to replace you. Female pride and entitlement shaking my head. Oh, this is Lucas. GigaChat. Is Streamlabs not working, man? I don't know what's going
$400 in
on.
the chat, Lucas. What's up? What's up with you, Lucas?
Crazy for that kind of drop.
Hey, look at the handsome guy
I don't
there.
know, look at
Handsome
him.
guy.
I'll
Lucas,
probably
thank you,
just
man.
pretend.
But yo,
pretend.
thank you for the soup chat, Lucas. He does raise a good point. Like,
But I think you
You
can
guys-
say the same thing about men. Like, you really think like a man is going, as a woman, like, personally speaking, I have standards, you know, and if this person doesn't meet my standards, I have absolutely no trouble with like letting them go. You know, it's okay that we don't agree and we don't have to agree, nor am I going to
Sure.
force that person to agree or meet my standards.